Primetime Debate. Now, the Supreme Court has adjourned hearing the highly debated subject of Article 35A in Jammu and Kashmir to the end of January next year. Now, this article is key as it gives the government of Jammu and Kashmir special powers as far as governing laws, more importantly, those dealing with property ownership. Why is this such a critical issue, and what are the different angles to this? To talk about this, I am joined by Mr. M.M. Ansari. He is former UGC member, CIC, and former interlocutor on Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking with Bloomberg Quint. My first question to you would really be to explain to our viewers what's the big deal about 35A. The way we understand it, that it does not allow non-Kashmiris to buy property in Kashmir. And maybe the average man on the street who is a non-Kashmiri would say, why should that be fair?
Well, as you know, that the Jammu and Kashmir enjoys a special autonomy, and therefore the state government is empowered to have its own laws, and therefore they have 35A, which is linked to 370, which grants a special power and autonomy to the state. And it is in this context that the state government has this provision under which they have been functioning. They also feel that this may affect the composition of population, and if it is allowed, if this law is scrapped, anybody from India or elsewhere can buy land and can settle, and that will disrupt the composition of the population. And in fact, I may also say that way back in 1927, Maharaja Hari Singh had passed similar act to ensure that the Jammu and Kashmir is not inhabited by Punjabis or Sindhis or even the Britishers, during those days, because of the beauty of Jammu and Kashmir and because of its natural climate. It was all feared, and therefore this law has been there ever since 1927, which got enacted again when the Jammu and Kashmir got autonomy. So this is the precise point, that it is all matter relating to the state autonomy, about which the Indian Parliament can't do anything. And there are those who say that this law was incorporated in the Constitution of India through presidential order, and it was not taken to the Parliament. It is in this context that I would say that it was not necessary to take to the Parliament, because the state government is all empowered to frame its own laws. I may also mention that under Section 370 of the Constitution of India, the government of India is empowered, or our parliament is empowered to frame laws only in areas of external affairs, defense, and communication. But it had so happened that a number of the laws of India, an Indian government, has been extended to facilitate the proper governance and functioning of the state. So the precisely that I can say is that this is a matter relating to the state economy, and therefore it can't be interfered with.
Of course, that is in court right now, but I'm just looking at the different various points of argument which surround Section 35A, because it has also become a contentious point with separatist leaders, actually threatening, an outbreak of violence or protests if this gets repealed, and that's perhaps another political side of it. But the other argument is that it is also against the rights of Kashmiri women, because it says, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if a Kashmiri woman marries a non-Kashmiri, she loses the right to hold property within the state.
Yeah, that was the position earlier, but I think they have brought out some amendments and they have extended this right. But what you said is true. That was the position earlier. But I'm told that in the last few years, they have amended and they have allowed that the women, even if they have married to somebody from outside, they will have the rights, or their children will have those rights. So this is to be looked into.
Okay. One more question. this move coming at this particular time, how difficult does it make the job of the current interlocutor for Kashmir that the government has appointed, Mr. Dineshwar Sharma?
Well, I'm not sure whether he's going to look into it because his mandate is not clear. And this also relates to the state autonomy, as I said and explained to you earlier. And there is no way that that the Indian government can interfere with the autonomy of the state because the Indian Parliament is not empowered to do that, you know. So that is a more critical point. And at the same time, the BJP and the PDP is in alliance, and they would not like that their alliance should be disturbed in any way. So that is precisely the point.
You know, this also comes at a time when in the last couple of days, in fact, former Home Minister P. Chidambaram has called for greater autonomy for Kashmir. He's, of course, contextualized that demand. It came with a sharp reprisal from the Prime Minister. Does all of this dialogue have any real impact on what's happening in Kashmir right now?
No. It is all, the debate is unnecessary, and what Chidambaram has referred to is what it was agreed in 1953. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that, M.M. Ansari, former interlocutor for Jammu and Kashmir, explaining contentious Section 35A. It has been postponed for now, but it continues to be an issue which could be a political hot button in Kashmir.